So,
yeah.
got it cleared out.
You dug out most of this for the snow.
So deep. So we've got our tripods and we'll set them up in place. Then we'll run a pole between them and then do a triangle tarp over the pole. And it'll be steep enough that it'll shed any snow that we get in this last part of winter. And it should make a big enough space underneath that the evaporator should sit there. And once the evaporator's in there, where's my finger? In over there, we'll be able to peel the tarp back when we're boiling, and then that lets all the chimney smoke escape without burning our tarp. So that's where we're at, and weather report is for sugar. Yeah, sap should be flowing in the next short while, so we want to get ourselves all set up as quick as we can.
They're calling for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
Above and below, just right.
Jump the track here. Yeah, jump the tracks. Come here, you. Come here, you. Hey. Hey. Are you bringing some puppa peel? Hey, you bringing some puppa peel? Not my dog. My parents' dog. Day 89 of the Big Wild Year. We are in the sugar bush. We are working. And we are cooking. So we have a bare shoulder, actually a whole front quarter. We're going to cook on the campfire, and we're going to get things rocking so we can boil some syrup down soon, boil some sap down into syrup. So follow along. There's our front quarter of a bear. We'll hang that by the fire shortly. There's a nice little fire going down there. Kids are having fire warmed pizza. The adults are eating maple sugar. I want to show you this too. There's my pelican sled and my friend Rob, who shot one of the bears in the fall. You might have seen him on the Wooded Beardsman's channel. He lent me a snow dog. So I'm not very mechanically inclined, but this is a snow dog that he built. I think it's got a go-kart engine on it, and an old sled track. And you can walk behind it like a snowblower, or you can hook up a pelican sled and you can ride in the sled. So it's got a deck here, you can carry a whole bunch of stuff, and you can load your sled up as well. So he lent that to us, and we've been shuttling some equipment up here, especially those heavy bricks. And the evaporator's here, so I'm just going to use the profile of the shovel to make the ski ends. I think that'll work okay. Here we go. Thanks. Uh-oh.
Hey, saw little soften came off.
Oops.
Oops.
What's going on? All right, take two.
Now we have a slanted edge.
drippy nose too.
So do I.
Alright. Oh, you can even see me in the shiny side of this thing. So, just filming on my cell phone because I forgot to bring my other camera. But the main arch, the evaporator, was on this blue pallet behind. And what I did with my dad and my daughter is just built a really quick sled. Hopefully the snow is packed enough to haul that up there. Just put a little curve on the front of these. I didn't wax them or anything. I don't have any rink board to line them right now, but I think it'll go. And I ratcheted it on. So I was careful at the back here. You can see the cast iron frame is only maybe 2 inches, 1.5 inches wide. So I didn't want to ratchet over here in case I bent the stainless steel. So I just ratcheted on the corners where it's on the frame, and it's holding it pretty steady there. So after you unload it all, that's what you've got. All the parts individually, chimney pieces. I got my owner's manual in there, and box with the other parts in it, and a lot of brick. That's going to be the biggest part of setting this guy up, is doing all the bricking and parging. It's like Easter when they're running around to the buckets.
Do you want to take your snowshoes off?
Yeah, I guess that might end up out of reach. We're going to raise the roof. Okay.
It only has like a quarter. Okay.
Pretty good there, I think.
I'll be right back.
It's not going to go much higher.
Okay.
I want to see if it looks level, babe. Oh, I've got it.
Feels like it, but I'll check. Yeah, that looks good, love.
Great.
So should I take that other length of rope off the other side? Or
Yeah.
do this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Green ones are a little bit too long. The pink ones are a little bit too short, but the blue ones are just right.
Where do we put it?
So that'll hold this end, and then there's this rope along the bottom of the old tarp shed, so we're going to cannibalize that and tie off the other end of the tarp.
Small space. I want a snack though. Grab a snack, I can do it. What is these? What are these? Lifesaver? Mom, can I have a lifesaver?
Yes, I'll open the package for you in a minute, okay?
Okay. Where's the glowing stick? Where's the magic glow staff? Where's your word on the blanket? Okay, let's put it there. No, it's good. It's good, Eric. It's burning the wall like it should. You don't need that right now. You just need a small stick with it. Oh, it's a magic stick. It's a magic stick. Please listen to me. It's a magic. And that's how I'm listening with.
Well, this one is the one
You know
that
why that helps?
Want me to go on
I'm a
it?
little more nervous about.
Want me to go?
You know why the air helps? Why air helps?
I'm good.
Fire needs air to keep
Um,
on fire.
Now,
It has to go over. Bring it over the top.
it's not very far to throw.
Goodness.
Mom, we're doing actually a really good job. Just to keep it going.
Good job.
That way the air can run through.
Good.
Now
Can you grab that tail there?
I'm fine. They're
Oh
mine.
yeah.
Yep.
Unless you want to pull it off in that side.
Now let's
I think it's
have a
fairly tight, right?
Okay.
Yeah, you just
No,
have to
because we have to
retie
save
this
stuff.
Okay. Alright, so we're working from the installation guide from Dominion and Grimm. This is the 2x6 pan, and we're at the stage where we want to have the legs in so that when we flip it over it's basically sitting level, and we're going to have it on these beams. The first thing they tell you to do on the manual is to make sure that all the screws and the nuts are still tight on the evaporator, because some of them might have loosened up in shipping. So once we've got the legs installed and we have it sitting on the beams, we'll go through and have a look, make sure everything's still tight. Huh? What are you so excited about?
It's the cast iron door.
Yeah,
The door?
that's actually it's the flue, I think, to let the air in and out.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Well, what goes on the front of the firebox?
that goes under the door, but the door goes on the front of the
okay.
firebox. Yep. Yeah, this is like Christmas, opening up all the packing crates.
Oh, here's the
We
other
want the
piece.
legs. Nice.
And this part.
And put it in.
Found the legs.
Oh, cool. Oh.
And I found them over here too. So we've got the legs, the bases, a doohickey dad, and the lifter for the elements, because you'll see when we get this guy all together, but on the front of the arch, instead of having a pan and two syrup pans, like an evaporating pan, a sap pan and two syrup pans, we have a sap pan, a syrup pan, and two cooking elements, which is going to be great for the big wild year. We can do lots of cooking up here.
Oh, I'm touching on the tree.
That's okay for now because they're too
they're-
wet to catch fire.
They're covered in snow.
One,
Maybe let's rip it up.
two,
That way it doesn't happen.
and then we'll tighten them down a little bit. And then when it flips over, those foot bases go on there. The feet of the legs. And these aren't meant to hang on under gravity very well, so we'll have to slip them under after.
Okay.
And the legs are going over at this end, so I'll put them over here.
May I start?
Yep. Push it a little bit closer. We could slide it right down the hill if we want, but it might not want to stop when we want it to stop. Got a little bit frozen in place maybe, eh?
Not one touch one. And they're coming by you, Eric. You have to be careful. They're like always right by you.
Okay. Are we sending it down or are we going to lift it off?
It's going like
We'll lift it. We'll keep the back end on the sled as we move it forwards.
Mom, do you have any more of that wrapper?
I'm not
It's,
sure, darling, but we're doing something. You can't come here. And don't talk for a minute. We're just concentrating. Okay?
Yeah.
Just want to see
Just-
where to grab.
Sure. Yeah, we'll just move it like 6 inches at a time.
Okay.
You good?
Yep.
Lift.
Nope.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay, I know which one's mine. That's it. You know how?
What?
It's there's a
Oh,
little
there's a
lip
little-
that's caught, I
okay.
think. Oh my gosh. You want to switch ends?
Perfect. That was way away
Hey.
from us.
Maybe?
Or go side side and then try and shuffle it forward.
Yeah, okay. That makes it better.
Okay. Might be a 4-person job. Just when you're handling it, I make sure I don't grab by the thin metal, and it's pretty obvious.
I have to lift.
Yeah, do you want to come to this end now? And what we can do, if we,
Put the legs on right now?
yeah, and then you don't even have to lift much, I don't think. So, oh, these are straight up and down, it looks like, eh? So there's no orientation on them.
Oh, wait, stop.
What?
This side goes in?
Yeah.
Okay.
One. And then we're going to put it into there too. Ready?
Okay, down. Up. Okay. Have to come up a little more. Okay.
It's in, but it wants to move a bit, eh? That's alright. So you'll have to watch it doesn't go one way or the other on you. And there's a thing to grab it by right there.
Okay.
And then I have to go straight up before we can go.
Yes.
Alright. I gotta put my end down
Yes.
a bit. They both come out.
Yeah.
That's okay. Well, let's
We'll move it back some more and then.
yeah, it
Yeah,
only
move
has
it
to
like
go 6 more inches,
Yeah.
and then we can slide the legs under. And just even 2 more inches. Good.
Guys, what do you need?
Beauty. Okay. Then we'll just put it in place. Ready? Bam. Okay, and then it's got the leveling screws, and I'm just adjusting this side because it's and because there's two, you can lock it into place after. So there we are, we're on. There's 4 inches of beam at the, here we are, there's 2 2x6s nailed together here, 2 2x6s for our beams. It's recommended, and what we'll do in the future is we'll pour a cement frame for this to sit on. And for now, because this is temporary, we've got it set up like this, resting on this beam, and you need to have 8 inches of airspace underneath for it to work properly. So we've got about 10, and it should be good. Once we get it all straightened out and leveled, then I'm also going to tack down the sides of these so they don't slide left or right. But what I might do first is wedge them to assist with leveling. Okay, so now we'll back up and do step 1, which is anywhere that there's a screw or the bolts. We'll check them all and make sure that everything's tight. Alright, we're going to want to eat soon, so, well, soonish, I guess. So we better get our tripod set up. I think we want to go the other way with this. Once around, twice around. This is the wrap. Tripod wrap. And then we will frap it. So that's where you wrap the joints. So that's one frap. The frapping is really key because it tightens up the grip of the rope around each of the holes. It keeps your ropes from sliding up and down, just increasing friction. And we're back to the start now. So we'll do left over right and under, right over left and under. And we're all set to set up our tripod so we can do some cooking. Just watch the rope doesn't dangle in. So we don't get our fire too big, and that should be all right. The base isn't super wide right now. All right. Now, do we just want to hang that bear leg for now and smoke it a bit?
Sure.
All right. We'll wrap it around the knuckle, I guess. Around the knee bone. What I'll do is I'll cut a little bit of that fat off and we'll just throw it straight into the pan because we don't want it all to end up in the fire, right?
Mm-hmm. Into your cast iron, you mean?
Yeah. Bear meat fried in bear fat. That is a thing on YouTube.
Well, it's a thing in our everyday life.
It is also a thing in our everyday life. Okay, so on page 12 we want to level the evaporator and then we move on to the insulation board. So I have insulation board. We want to install it on the inside of the arch. Now here in the English copy of the manual, and I have both the English and the French, they call it asbestos board. And so I was a little bit concerned that it was actually asbestos because I know there is an asbestos mine in Quebec, but I thought that nobody was really making asbestos anything anymore, so I called the company and they verified that it is not actually asbestos. And what we want to do is we want to put asbestos board lining the insides and also the bottom and the sides of this area here, and then we're going to install all the brick that goes in here. Okay, this is the fire door here, and I've been cutting a piece to fit a piece of the insulation to fit against this side, and I think this might be my least favorite part about the installation, not the insulation, is trying to cut it to a proper fit. So I got it relatively close. So I'll use this first piece as a guide because the other piece is the same thing. But I'm a little bit unsure about, like, it doesn't fit flat because there are all these bolts, but I guess it doesn't have to fit flat because some of your refractory cement will make up that space difference, or maybe you just push against these bolts so that your insulation sits into them. So I'll just use my first piece as a template. We can see, like, I cut out some little pieces to make sure it fits around the frame. Hopefully that works out all right. I'll get some of this fat melted maybe.
Do you want that other rope then?
No, because we'll use this same rope.
Oh, I see.
We are going to cube up this meat into that cast iron pan, and then we're going to cook it in the bear fat, but we're also going to add some maple sap fresh from the trees, and we'll simmer this guy up. Oh yeah, it's nice. We'll use Delphine's fancy heli knife. See if we can find the joint, and then it'll be a little bit shorter to work with. And then do we have a little something we can put the cubed meat on? We might.
Well, there's this other pan there.
Perfect. Thank you. I might take this other one. Well, this one will fit in the pot that big, so maybe we'll throw that in, and we'll take some pieces off of this nice shoulder here. So it should be a little bit smoke infused now. There's no, none of it's cooked really. Some of this bottom part got a bit scorched on the fire, but that's okay. Actually, some of the very bottom of this is cooked. It's a little bit too hot to handle. See, it's cooked here and here mostly. We're going to cube it all up.
Wait.
Great. Get this big
I got
piece
to
in
put my
there.
mitts on.
Oh, it's not gonna quite fit.
It will as soon as it heats up a bit.
Well, I think it's from bone to bone, it's too long.
Oh,
So it'll be to take home and braise.
that's a good enough amount.
Looks like it. Does it? It looks pretty good. It's just been simmering away for an hour. Bear
Probably-
meat,
well, a
bear
bit
fat, maple sap.
A bit more than that, I think.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So good. Looks pretty fresh on the bite.
Yep. What's the verdict?
Oh, you won't like it.
No?
I better have it.
That hits the spot. Hot meat, cold day. Smoke's chasing me around the fire here. Yeah, I'm ready to take a break and eat some more. That's good.
I just brought the bowls and the kids have them all dirtied up.
Oh yeah.
But maybe we could just...
Yeah, put some in there for it to cool a bit and then drop some chopsticks.
Well, there is another thing up there.
Can we both look at the camera and smile?
It's kind of fake.
It's alright, even just like us crouching over a pot of meat is good. Okay, I'll grab one of those spoons, I guess.
I think I cleaned this one
Oh,
off. Yeah.
Perfect.
Should be enough for now, eh?
Yep.
Do you
Say
want
so.
some juice?
Some juice?
Like, do you want some of the...
Oh yeah. We need a different
Okay,
spoon
just-
for that, eh?
No, just hold this. Like right under there.
Perfect. Smoky. Perfect.
Fingers or spoon?
I'm just going to use my fingers, I think. Warm them up a little bit. So there was pulled a big bag out of my freezer. I didn't know what was in it except that it's bare. And it was 2 front quarters. So we've mostly cooked up the one today. The leftovers have been hanging to smoke. And the front arm,
I'm behind you.
yeah, I'll take it home and braise it. So this will be good for a few meals. It's good, but I don't really taste the maple sap.
Well, a little bit. It's not very strong.
Day 89 of the big wild year. By the time this video comes out, you'll have already seen our day 91 live update, but we could say a couple things now. We're running out of berries and greens. We are at least a month away from our first wild green starting.
Less than a month.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
it's almost April 1st. We're a quarter of the way through the big wild year. And we've been doing lots of work in the sugar bush. We boiled our first bit of syrup the other day, just a small amount.
No, I did the
More
one
this morning. And the good weather hasn't hit yet. The evaporator will be set up in the next couple of days.
It's been snowing all day,
Yeah.
but the trees were still dripping a little bit, which was nice. A couple of them.
I scouted around. We have a pile of dry firewood, but there's some good dead standing trees too. So we'll be able to supplement. Tapped 25 trees the other day. We had 42 already. 67 trees tapped, more than 30 to go. And we'd like to make 100 liters of syrup. That's the plan. And then we have lots to eat, enough that we don't have to buy maple syrup for the kids probably, and some to trade, because we don't have a lot of trading stuff right now. Still have a fair bit of
charisma.
Our charisma. Yeah. We've done a few presentations lately. We have some foraging events that we'll be going to over the next year.
Yeah.
And in Canada and in the United States. Our health is still good. We'll be doing blood work in the next couple of weeks.
Your eyes healed up,
Yeah.
mostly.
So it's been 2 weeks since I smoked myself in the eyeball. Well, on the bone on the edge of my eye. So it's mostly, most of the color is gone. There's one little hard bump. So that's been alright. We have quite a bit of big game left. Some small game. Some fish.
Yeah, it's almost time for geese and turkeys and...
Yeah, our next big haul after the syrup will be smelts probably. So we're on call from a couple of people who are going to watch for smelt run for us.
And suckers.
And then sucker run shortly thereafter. And then we'll be hitting some greens pretty hard because it'll be leeks and fiddleheads and nettles especially. We'll get some spring roots. We really want to dig more sunchokes
And dandelion root.
before they sprout. More
Primrose.
dandelion root, yeah.
Burdock. And then some blossoms. That's going to be fun. I'm
Yeah.
excited. I get to go rifle shopping.
Me too. So we've got, I don't know if I talked about this on my channel, but my rifle, when I was on Manitoulin Island, I talked about this. My rifle was missing. And it's given me a little bit of grief before. And then I took the scope off at a gun shop to see if I could re-scope it. It's an old surplus rifle that I bought. And then you could really see where parts of it had been welded, and it had two different, yeah, it's a real Frankenstein rifle. And I think 4 years ago, I really wanted to start saving for a new rifle, and so I do this funny little thing where I mostly pay cash for stuff, because then you see where your money goes instead of using a card. And anytime I get toonies back in change, I put them into a savings jar, and my toonie jar got depleted when I bought that camera, when Chris's camera got knocked into the lake. So that was my rifle fund gone, but I kept putting my toonies aside, and now I'm at the point where I can get a pretty good rifle. If I squeeze some other money out of somewhere else, I'll be able to get a pretty good rifle and a pretty good scope. So we will be rifle shopping. Now there'll be 6,000 comments about what kind of rifle you should get. But we already looked at a few that we like. And we have lots of big game hunting plans, starting with spring bear, and then hopefully moving through elk, deer, bear, moose.
Yeah. I'm excited to hunt for the bear.
Yeah.
Although I'll probably need help to haul it out and chop it up if I get lucky.
Yeah.
Because you'll be gone.
Yeah, I'll be in Grenada soon. Well, in a month I'll be gone for 2 weeks. So that I'll do a Grenada series, I guess, or one video summarizing the trip, eating as much wild food as I can in Grenada, and then looking at what I can bring back to Canada without getting arrested at the border. Because there are some things that you can bring and some that you cannot. But I'll make more salt, and I can bring back dried nuts,
Coconut.
whale oil. I can't get my own whale oil there, but it is available.
And the nutmeg's not ready though, right? At that time?
Not where I could pick my own, but it's available in the markets. So I don't know what spices would be in season, but I could look into that. Yeah. So it's been going really well. We have been powered by wild food for 1/4 of a year. And 1 slice of prosciutto.
Him, not me. Although my kids asked me today if we're going to allow ourselves a cheat day ever through the year.
Oh yeah.
And it sounds like a good idea, but then it doesn't.
No, because
Because you already had one?
yeah, I guess so. 1 slice of prosciutto, but I know, like, you guys are interested, I'm interested, you're interested, and if we go off 1 day a week or 1 day a month or 3 days in a row through the year, then our blood results, you know, have less meaning.
Everything's skewed.
Everything's skewed, and so we're sticking with it. Unless our health is at such a point where the doctor says we need to reconsider. So far, so good.
Still very confident that that won't happen at all.
Yeah. We'll just eat more.
I haven't lost any weight. Well, like I fluctuate a pound up, pound down.
Yeah.
But for the last 6 weeks, I haven't. My weight's been stable.
Yeah, and I lost 1 pound last week. I'll check again in 2 days. So we'll see. I've been burning a lot of calories coming up to the sugar bush quite a bit, and
Yeah, and to only have lost a pound in that week is
yeah,
like you're
not
offsetting
bad.
it with your intake pretty well, I think.
I just have to eat more meat.
You have no choice. There's no
More
greens.
fat, yeah. No, there's nothing else. Well, we have meat and sugar.
Meat and sugar.
That's not so bad. And maybe in 2 weeks we might be able to dig sunchokes again. So things are looking pretty good.
Well, they're calling for spring to hit like it did last year. Well, where it's still chilly, and then 20 plus.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So that's it for today. I'm not sure how I'll edit this video. It might not be it for this video because I might carry on. We're back up here tomorrow working again on the evaporator, so this might be an interlude. And then we'll pick up where I left off. And because I do want to show putting together that evaporator and getting it set up. And that probably is best as mostly one video. And then we'll move on to some other maple syrup topics. Alright.
You can taste it in some pieces more than in others.
I think the fat soaked it up more than the meat. Does that make any sense?
Maybe.